It's that time again, folks. We got another Haunt Couture doll. So she actually came in about a week ago at the time I'm recording this, but I just now had the time and the energy to record my reaction. And that's okay. So let us free her from her cardboard prison. Okay, I got my phone mounted again. Because again, I'm not doing this with one hand. Alright, let's get this baby open. And most likely she's going to be stuck in there like Frankie was, so I'm going to have to... Oh, is she... Oh, she's coming out a lot easier. Why was it such a struggle to get out Frankie? Oh, man. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Ooh. As soon as I take off this paper, I'm going to see the box. Ah! Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, that is gorgeous. Oh, look how shiny. Oh, wait. There we go. The shine. But of course, before we get to the actual doll, we gotta talk about the box because, oh my gosh. So as we can see, just like the first Haunt Couture doll box, this one is covered in character-centric iconography. This time relating to Draculaura, and it complements the hot pink metallic foil perfectly. So let's take a look at each one together, shall we? Starting with this guy. For this first one, we have Draculaura's vampire skeleton icon, and below it, a heart with what I can only assume is like some abstract wings. And then on either side of the skeleton, we have some X's formed with a safety pin and what I can only assume is a streak of gray paint. And just diagonally to the right of that, we have a melty heart with an abstract batwing design with a heart at the bottom and some swirls on either side. I really like the swirls and the bat wings. Okay, I had to switch to taking a picture because my hands were not cooperating with me and wouldn't keep my camera phone still. Anyway, moving to the next one down, we have a large bat outline with two baby bats at the top, some swirls, a couple of bows, and at the very top, I think those are supposed to be a pair of conjoined hearts. And then moving on from here, in this one, we have a more realistic but still stylized bat design. And it's got a cute little heart in the center of its forehead, a heart with fangs, some swirls, and some very skinny hearts in the dip of the swirls. And I love this cute little bat design. And I wonder if this is supposed to be a reference to the bat necklace that's on the actual Haunt Couture doll itself. Moving on to the next one. In this section, we have a mini stylized version of Draculaura's Haunt Couture cape. And below it, another mini heart with some more stylized bat wings, a pair of fanged lips on either side, and some more swirls. I also love the fact that they included the bow where the cape ties at the front. They didn't have to do that, but they did, and I appreciate that. That's what we call attention to detail. And then over here in the next section, we have the classic Monster High skeleton icon surrounded by hearts, and you guessed it, more swirls. And that's pretty much it, so moving on. In this next section here, we have a silhouette of Draculaura's Haunt Couture boots, a heart, a couple more bats, and the same swirls and skinny hearts that are in the section directly diagonal to it. Gotta love the consistency. And then in the section directly diagonal and above it, we have another heart with some more bat wings, a pair of safety pins, some swirls, and a pair of bows. Man, they put a lot of stuff on Draculaura's box. Like, is it just me, or did they put a lot more stuff on Draculaura's box than they did Frankie's? And now before we get to the final section, we gotta take a quick detour to the side of the box because I almost missed this one. We have a giant pair of fanged lips that's dripping its own lipstick, an upside down heart with a matching upside down bat, some swirls, a heart, and some bows. I love how they use the negative space to depict the lip shine. I think that's very smart. And now for the final section, right underneath the Haunt Couture plaque. We have an inverted version of the heart with bat wings inside of an even bigger swirly heart, and some spider webs on either side in the corners. Now if we take a look at the same design on the back, we see that the plaque was actually covering up the top part of the design, which is another heart with fangs and some swirls on the other side and a little thingy at the top. I have no idea what that is. And finally, at the center of it all, we have the Monster High Haunt Couture plaque. It's made of the same faux leather that Frankie's plaque is and printed in metallic pink foil. And we have 4 different pieces of iconography for Draculaura on there. At the bottom, we have her iconic vampire skeleton icon. This hot pink foil is everything. Moving on, we have a pair of fanged lips. At the top, we have that same stylized bat. I freaking love this bat. And then over here, we have the drippy heart. And of course, at the center, we have the MH logo and the Haunt Couture logo printed in that badass font. I just have an appreciation for cool and unique fonts, okay? Needless to say, this entire box from top to bottom is an absolute work of art just like Frankie's, and it's by far some of the most badass packaging that a Monster High doll has ever come in. I sincerely wish and hope that the packaging designers got a raise for these because they more than deserve it. And with the initial fangirling of the box out of the way, it is finally time for us to look at the doll herself. Okay, I got my phone mounted again, and I learned my lesson from last time, and I already got the little adhesive sticky thingies already cut. So now all I gotta do is shake her out. Oh, and not drop it. Oh my god, this is gonna get annoying. Okay. Come on. Alright, how about we... Okay, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. And then we'll pull it from the top. And then the side. Okay, now we got a good system in place. Okay. I'll remember to use this for future Haunt Couture dolls. We better be getting a Ghoulia someday. Okay. Almost got her. Oh god, okay. Oh, oh, oh. Oh my god! She's beautiful! And enormous! Like, she looks a lot bigger than Haunt Couture Frankie. Oh, wow! Oh my goodness! Wow! She is beautiful, talented, brilliant, amazing. Insert that entire Lady Gaga quote here. Wow, oh my gosh. Ah! Look at her! She's beautiful. Behold, she is everything you want and more. She is a dream come true. Oh my gosh. She is absolutely beautiful. And can we take a second to appreciate that hot pink coffin padding in the background? I noticed that it's a slightly darker shade of pink than all the hot pinks that Draculaura is wearing in her outfit. And since it's a darker shade of pink, it complements the doll without making the doll blend in with the background. And before we get her out of the box, we gotta talk about the inside of the box lid. First, we have the same certificate of authenticity that came with Frankie, signed by Rebecca Shipman. And on the back, we have a little blurb from Draculaura herself about her outfit. And then in its own little pocket, we have a brand new Draculaura doll diary, or what I like to refer to as the sacred text. It should totally be forbidden to read someone else's diary, even if it is lost. You heard the ghoul, mind your business. And now, it is time to free her! Again! Okay, so I got the plastic off, and now there's nothing stopping me from reaching my hand in. Wow. Like, there she is. She's tangible in my hands. Like, here I am feeling all the textures. This is the first Draculaura doll of the comeback, and the first Draculaura doll I've owned since the end of the original MH run. I'm so freaking happy! Now that I am properly dressed for the occasion, let's take a look. Also, let's take a second real quick to appreciate the makeup. I spent a good 2 hours on this, and I am very proud of myself. Plus, it looks fantastic with the wig. But anyway, here she is in full fantastic pink splendor, and she's even more beautiful out of box. Oh my gods. So first thing I noticed right off the bat is that they went back to Draculaura's roots, which is Gothic Lolita fashion, and just like Frankie, they kept some of the elements of her original first wave outfit. particularly the top half, which is an updated version of the top half of Draculaura's first wave outfit. We have the long sleeve mesh top and the same hot pink vest, just with the top half cut out of it, and it's most likely attached to the skirt, so it turns into a jumper dress. As for how they updated the mesh shirt, they gave it a base white shirt as well as white puffy sleeves, and on the base shirt there is a very subtle bat print going on. It's kind of hard to see on camera, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. And also on the sleeves, it's trimmed with lace, but also some black ribbon with pink polka dots on it that has a single continuous line of thread going through them, which kind of makes them look like lipstick kisses. And I don't know if that was intentional, but it looks really cool. And we see this ribbon trim continue throughout the outfit, from the trim on her beret to the trim at the edges of her leggings. And of course, we have to talk about the statement pieces that are this utterly epic belt and that bat wing necklace and choker combo. So first of all, the belt itself has this giant black heart-shaped belt buckle with these bat wings that match the black heart-shaped belt buckles that we see on the belts of her shoes. Very matchy-matchy. And we can also see that the belt has this black stitching to further sell the illusion that it's a black leather belt. And of course, we have those adorable, really pretty metallic hot pink charms coming out of heart-shaped holes in the belt. Like, they really went ham on the heart motif. I gotta respect the dedication. They did not have to do that part, but they did, and I appreciate that. Speaking of attention to detail, this bat necklace and choker combo, it's made of the same metallic pink as the charms on the belt as well as the earrings, and it has itty bitty little swirls carved into the bat wings themselves, as well as a heart on the center of the bat's forehead. Also, before she came in, I honestly thought that these were two separate necklaces, but no, they are very much attached to each other. I also appreciate that they put that tiny black heart on the chest of the bat so it matches the black jewels on the choker. It adds a nice different pop of color to an entirely pink bat. And now we're gonna move on down to the skirts. So the top skirt layer is a sheer overlay with spider webbing details, and the spider webbing is made of pure black glitter. Very extra. And it's also got inverted scallops on the ends so that the hot pink fabric underneath can show off a bit more. And this is the same hot pink fabric that the vest is made out of. And on the bottom skirt layer, they have this beautiful, delicate black lace trim that is also on the bottoms of her leggings. And these are the only two places we see that black lace being used, because the white lace on the top at both the puffy sleeves and the ends of the mesh sleeves are completely different. And now we move on down to the shoes. Nowhere near as extra as Frankie's, but still very fabulous and very pretty. Look at all them buckles. Look at all them belts. And upon closer inspection, the stitching on the toes of the boots look like little hearts. That's so cute! Now for the back of the shoes, I noticed something major. Now from the pictures I saw of Draculaura before I got her, I knew the heel of this boot looked familiar. But now that she's in my hands and I can just turn it around and see the back, I know for a fact that the base of these shoes are identical to the base of the shoes for the 2015 Collector Draculaura doll. And here's a picture of the heel of those shoes for better comparison. Since I don't own this doll, I had to have a friend who actually owns it send this picture to me. So yeah, I don't know about you guys, but that blew my mind. And now we're gonna backtrack to the top and talk about this epic spiderweb cape, which is arguably the most iconic part of this entire outfit. I want to make that cape for myself so bad. So on the underside we see that the black spider webbing is not made of black glitter like the spider webbing on the skirt, but instead printed onto the same fabric that the vest and the underskirt is made of. However, we did get some pink glitter on the top side of the cape. Looking at the pictures of her before she came here, I thought that there were like tiny pink paint/blood splatters on the cape, but no, it's glitter. But of course that's not a bad thing. It would have looked fantastic either way. And then here on one of her hands, we have a hot pink mini coffin ring, which I almost lost upon trying to get her out of the box, but thankfully I didn't. I love how they took the time to put a teeny weeny heart in the center of that coffin. Speaking of rings, for the earrings, she has these giant metallic hot pink safety pin earrings that are attached via a heart-shaped stud, which I just remembered are another callback to Draculaura's first wave doll, which had white safety pin earrings. They really did not come to play games with these accessories. Which brings me to the final accessory, this adorable pink felt beret. Definitely one of my favorite parts of the outfit. The beret itself is made of a pink felt, and on the front we can see the word vamp embroidered on it with a cute little bat next to it. I don't know what to tell you, man. The word, the embroidery, everything just elevates it. And now that we've fully talked about the outfit itself, it is time to move on to the doll's face and its makeup. And just like all the other Haunt Couture dolls, Draculaura has 3D eyelashes, as well as very thick eyebrows, for some reason. I mean, it's a good look on her, or maybe that's because the bangs are hiding them a little bit, I don't know. I absolutely love the eye makeup and the choice of eyeshadow color they used. The purple and pinks and the white shimmer on the brow bone just complement Draculaura's eye and skin color beautifully. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the exact same shade of lipstick they used on First Wave Draculaura. And it's a really good color too, so, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And a really cool thing they did, for the first time ever, we have a Draculaura doll that has a heart-shaped birthmark that isn't filled in. Like, there's negative space where it should have color. Which just further helps make this doll a little more unique amongst all of the other Draculaura dolls that we've had so far. And I really like that. And I almost completely forgot to talk about the hair. So let's fix that. Here we have Draculaura rocking her signature iconic blunt cut bangs. And I don't know whether this was intentional or not, but compared to her first wave doll, which this doll is supposed to be referencing, the pink in her hair is less streaks and more like peekaboo highlights, which they continue onto the back of her hair. In the back of her hair, it's mostly black with two very thin pink streaks that are just barely there. Like I said, they're less streaks and more like peekaboo highlights. And I do love the very fluffy and curly texture it has, very voluminous. And I think this is the most voluminous I've ever seen Draculaura's hair since her Ghouls Rule doll, which is a very welcome change. I love it. And finally, of course we gotta talk about the legendary leaked pink leather coffin backpack. Now, unlike Frankie's Haunt Couture backpack, I have no beef with this one. I love it. Now, I am very skeptical about every and any doll leaks that come out because I usually have no reason to believe that any of them are real. So who knew that the leak of this little backpack in particular ended up being legit and that I would be holding it in my hands in a few months' time? Ain't life wild like that sometimes? But now that we have talked about the doll itself and talked about the good, we gotta talk about the bad, and unfortunately the bad stuff is kinda glaring. First off is the doll stand. We have the exact same problem we did with Frankie, where the pincer that is supposed to hold the doll in place cannot fit over the belt or anywhere else on the doll's torso, so she's basically holding on to the doll stand and standing up by sheer luck and force of gravity. But also with Draculaura, her cape is helping. And we also have another problem the Frankie doll had in very loose leg joints. If I bend her leg and try to move her in any way, shape, or form, her leg just swings back and forth like this. Where with the older Playline Draculaura dolls, as you can see, I don't have this problem. So what gives? But now for the most obvious flaw, the paint job. And if you've made it this far into the video, you probably already noticed it by now. The most obvious flaw is being on her face, where we can already see a paint chip on the left side of her top lip, a weird scratch mark in the tear duct of her left eye, and a random broken black line on the inner corner of her right eye. And unfortunately, it doesn't stop there because the whack paint job extends to the shoes as well. Specifically with the black heart-shaped belt buckles, and the paint on them is very scuffed. And how badly they're scuffed makes the paint job on the doll itself go from okay to downright questionable. Especially since these are supposed to be collector dolls and they retailed at $75 a pop. And that's only in US dollars. Not to mention the face and shoes are also kinda dirty. I got random flecks of paint or something, especially on the nose of the doll and on the toes of the shoes. I mean, that's probably nothing I can't fix with some nail polish remover as long as it doesn't have any acetone in it and a cotton swab, but I'm not gonna guarantee that. But honestly, other than that, I'm really happy that I have her in my collection when I honestly thought that I wasn't gonna be able to get her since Mattel done pulled the rug out from underneath us and decided that they were gonna release her a week early. So my plans on saving up for her just automatically went up in flames, but thanks to a few really good friends, I was able to get her. And you know who you are. Thank you so much. I think we all learned our lesson by now that we can never ever trust Mattel to keep a consistent release schedule for any of the Monster High collector dolls. So, I don't really know what else to say at this point. Draculaura is here. She is fabulous, and despite her flaws, I love her very much. And if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I applaud you. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I can think about to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.